Economics. Dr. Yousef is the president of the London College of Energy Economics and an honorary senior research fellow at Imperial College London. He is one of the world's top 50 global energy analysts and a member of the group of experts on sustainable energy at the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. He is a fellow of the UK Energy Institute and the chartered scientist of the UK Science Council, and the winner of the OPEC Best Young Professional Award. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Yousef Alshammari.
Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction, and I'm absolutely delighted to be at this prestigious gathering with leading figures from the industry. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite my guests who are truly incredible experts in their own fields, from both the exploration and production industry and also from the service industry. So maybe Dr. Leitan and David of our panel today. First, the subject of this session is going to highlight the subject of sustainability and AI. As we have seen in the previous discussion, the summary from the yesterday proceedings on AI and how it can lead to development in the sustainable energy sector. With me here, I have Dr. Leitan Al-Muntashiri, who is the director of the SPE ARC at Saudi Aramco, who definitely a place that has been doing leading activities in terms of leading the activities in terms of the company's role in advancing AI in the upstream industry, especially from the R&D side. And also I have David Seabrook from Schlumberger in the UK, who is again a well-known name in terms of the service industry that provides fascinating services to various oil and gas players around the world. And I also have from Halliburton Alejandro Gracia from Houston, who also, we believe, similar to Schlumberger, but definitely he will also provide to us another topic in terms of the lessons, how can we learn from the lessons about the sustainability of the AI sector. I also have Mr. Saleh Al-Mikbel, who is leading in terms of the IoT technology, so slightly away from the oil and gas business, but definitely very essential in terms of developing the technology. And again, from Saudi Aramco, Dr. Umar Al-Nahdi, who is also from the petroleum sector, I believe. I believe he is the petroleum engineering application system. So he will also talk to us about the latest developments and what they have been doing in their own division. So to start with the main subject of the session, I'd like to ask Dr. Leitan, can you please help us and our audience set this scene on how can AI improve the sustainability sector and for a company like Saudi Aramco from a upstream site?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and good morning. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizing and the technical committee for the invitation to be here today among this esteemed group of panelists. And I look forward to having a productive session whereby we exchange knowledge and share information and bounce of ideas to bring the future of upstream to reality when it comes to sustainability and AI. I would like also to recognize the contributions made by expert advancing research center members, be it to the topics that I'm going to talk about today in terms of technical contributions, as well as the members that have been participating with the team in the organizing committee, Hala last week. And I would like also to congratulate Yousef and the rest of the team for a great event that we had so far. Now, let's start talking about the upstream in a nutshell. We all know that the energy, what used to be economic or even for practical reasons, Just to give you some sense, in fact, it was reported that such a transition would cost the industry around $215 trillion. In the year 2023, and I'm quoting here our CEO, Mr. Amin Al-Nasser, he said that in the year 2023, the industry spent $9.5 trillion on the energy transition, and yet solar and wind represents only 4% of the energy mix that year. So we are not even moving it in. Now, what does it mean for us in upstream? This is a great opportunity, not to protect only our industry, but also to bring a huge impact. If you look at the emissions in the year 2022, it was around 59 on a global scale for CO2. How much would upstream represent out of the industry-related emissions? It's around 10%. This translates into 3.5 gigatons of CO2 equivalent in that year. Now, what does it, so if it's 3.5 gigatons, how can we visualize this? This is equivalent to 70% of the total emissions of all vehicles on the planet in 1 year. This is the type of impact we can make as an upstream industry. How is AI going to contribute to this? AI is a critical and an essential tool, and I'm sure that all of the colleagues will add to that today. But I could say that closing the loop from exploration by processing seismic efficiently, by building the right artificial intelligence algorithms that will help us understand the subsurface and therefore become efficient in the way we drill, to the surface character, to the drilling operations where we use AI to bring models that will be predictive and help us become not only efficient but also faster in the way we address issues related to the wellbore stability. Many of the issues that are faced are ROP optimization and many other parameters that are considered to be critical in operation, in drilling operations. Not to mention the fact that the advances that will happen in the robotics, imaging analysis, will also help us become better in our production facilities. And of course, the advances in material science that will help us bring other byproducts from the
definitely, I'd like to come back to with a few comments or questions on what you mentioned, but let me move now to Mr. Saleh Al-Bikri, who is his company is specializing in Internet of Things, IoT, Squared. Saleh, engineering application systems. My question to you, Dr. Omar, is the generative AI, because we've heard from your colleague, Dr. Ghaitan, about the sustainability efforts that the company is working on. And my question to you is, how does Saudi Aramco view the advancements in AI in general, especially AI, as a game changer in the upstream industry?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Dr. Sultan, and really happy to be here, and I'm happy that you have a couple of friends in common, one of them in OPEC and the other in the ministry. So we need to look at the holistic picture, and it was a great start by Dr. Ghaitan talking about energy transition, and we all remember the push from global north, what we call, to transition away from oil and gas and hydrocarbon. Yet we see a record high production today from hydrocarbon, more than 104 million barrels per day. So the question is, why do we need AI and what to use AI for? In us, in Aramco, we have a very focused vision. We are the most reliable of energy supply with the lowest cost and the lowest carbon intensity. So these are the three pillars that defines us in Saudi Arabia. And AI should help us sustain this position. And we are very focused when using AI on delivering these three pillars: reliability, affordability, and environmental aspect. I also recall NVIDIA CEO once talking about AI, and he said AI can do 20% of your job thousands times better. Sometimes 50% thousands times better. But not 100%. So which is the 20% of our jobs that will do it thousands times better? How can we focus on this sweet spot and avoid the 80%? And I see a lot of companies have a lot of POCs that failed. And we have a very nice quote, me and Khaled Zam always say, death by 1,000 POC. It's basically repeating POC after POC and you fail. We bypass this in Saudi Arabia. We have realized a lot of value by focusing on those three elements: reliability, affordability, and sustainability. Affordability is very important because if you see the cost of oil, again, it's very relative to where you are. In US, for example, the production of the consumption of oil is around 22 per barrel per individual, versus 1.4 in India, versus 1 barrel per individual in Africa, because of affordability. So those who are talking about the energy transition, they have to look at the cost globally and how people can afford using or consuming energy. For us in Saudi Arabia, we want to make sure that we continue our position as the most reliable energy supplier with affordability. And for that, we have embarked on a lot of AI models and projects that fits for purpose. For reliability, for example, we have equipped our geosteering business with a lot of AI models that enhances our geological models, reduces uncertainty, improves our well placement, which makes sure that we will sustain our production. We also have been having AI for ASP optimization that elongate the life of ASP, which allow us to maintain our targets. And that's what makes us reliable. In affordability as well, we have invested a lot in AI for drilling. Rig optimization is a major part of what we do. It improves our rig operation in general, reduces the rig troubles by optimizing weight on bed and rate of penetration. These are AI models that are fit for purpose and will allow us to be affordable. Again, for sustainability, which is another pillar, I know David and SLB will be working together on a sustainability solution for decarbonization. But we have a lot of projects in AI that reduces the power consumption of ASP and ensuring the safety of our wells and the integrity. The focus that we have in Saudi Arabia in ensuring that we continue to be the top oil and gas company provides us a leverage rather than having away from what we are focused on. And finally, I would like to talk about data. We see that a challenge with other companies, but AI will pay back to you a lot if you invest in your data. It's just like your health. If you invest in your health when you're young, you will get it when you are older. If you invest a lot in the data, AI will pay back. And happily, Saudi Aramco, we have invested a lot in our data. We have data that, as old as we started in the 30s. So this is very important. And finally, when we talk about Gen AI, Dr. Sultan, we started the Gen AI journey early on. I would say we started before ChatGPT was released, a few months before ChatGPT was released. And we availed Gen AI immediately after.
Industry, how can AI help you add value to your operations, especially when we're talking here sustainability and AI? So where can we see sectors and stages where we can actually add value from the AI business?
Yes, so if we take, for example, the application of AI in CCS operations or analysis, I think the effort to do the characterization of the reservoir applies similarly to what we do in oil and gas to the CCS analysis for the site approval. So this will help us accelerate the approval for the site selection, where we're gonna store the carbon. In many ways, I believe, for example, using legacy data from the field to analyze the potential leakage that we're going to have there, the integrity that we're going to have in the
eloquently highlighted important roles when it comes to energy transition. I'm very impressed that SLB, a service company, leading service company like SLB is engaged when it comes to leading the energy transition. And we definitely have highlighted things about innovation. So AI, SLB, and CSE is something important to lead the transition. So how do you see mitigating emissions, whether it's methane or any other greenhouse gas emission? So how can we accelerate innovation in this area?
No, thank you. I think back to this importance of speed and the need to accelerate innovation in our sector is key. And CCS, just maybe to start on that topic, we have found that the key to CCS is the integrated story from surface through to subsurface. All of that has to be optimized. You can't have it de-optimized at any point. And AI really helps you both in the subsurface interpretation phase, in the surface phase around capture and transport. You can use AI to optimize that whole chain. But in general, I think you can accelerate the use of AI by using the right AI. And yesterday we were talking a lot about your AI needs to be trained on the right foundation models. The foundation models need to understand our industry. And so we in SLB, we call that engineered AI. And so step one to acceleration with AI is to use the concept of engineered AI when you apply it to your different challenges. So that's one. Secondly, what I've seen is that legislation, and we haven't really talked about that yet, but legislation plays a big role in accelerating action. And so there's of course government legislation, rules and regulations and taxes, but there's also self-regulation. You know, adopting an internal carbon price for your corporate economics helps you make decisions that support sustainability. And setting goals, you know, just setting your scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 goals. Like in SLB, we set a net zero goal for 2050 that has a scope 3 part included. And we have an interim goal to be reduce scope 3 by 30% by 2030. So all the threes are in there, so easy to remember. But we take that seriously, so we're self-regulated, right, by imposing that on us. And then the third thing on regulation is voluntary regulation to accelerate the use of AI. So you need to join up to something. Join the OGMP, the Oil and Gas Methane Protocol, because if you join it, you will be required to take action and report at certain times. And so that's going to force us to bring technology and innovation into our space. And I commend the formation of the Oil and Gas Decarbonization Charter that happened at COP28. There are, 54 members in that charter today. All of them in 2024 had to set a baseline. So by voluntarily participating, they've accelerated their progress already. So I think legislation plays a massive role in accelerating our move to net zero. And then finally, our colleague from IoT Squared mentioned this, the importance of partnerships. Like there's no way any one company can do this alone. It's impossible if you want to go at speed and at scale, right? You need to go with someone. We have a proverb in Africa that says if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone. We need to do both, fast and far, right? And so, for example, with SLB, we've partnered with Aramco, and my Aramco colleague mentioned it in the sustainability space on decarbonization, because we can go further and faster together. And so that's, I think those are the three key things for accelerating the adoption of AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these very important points, David. Moving again to Dr. Omar, back to you. I'd like to have final comments from each distinguished speaker on first, what's your final message when it comes to AI and sustainability, and also something here which is, I believe, quite essential, which is if you summarize the session with my my distinguished panelists. Any of the audience would like to put any questions? Yeah, my friend there on that table. Yeah, please go ahead. Introduce yourself, please, and you can put the question.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, Yousef from Gas Trading. I have a question to Mr. Dr. Omar. We saw the visibility of Symposium and they are doing excellent in collecting data and using AI in drilling domain. And what it was discussed, the collaboration is the key success to succeed with the implementation of AI. The question is about the other partners in the whole fleet in each domain.
No, we have collaboration with everybody. Maybe it's SPE because we are here. So we have collaboration, and we can collaborate with Halliburton, Weatherford, big players, but also we also work with startups and small players. Saudi Aramco actually as part of a lot of JVs and venture capitals even. We invest, we have Wild and it's a complete company investing on VCs. We've created our digital company, I think a few years.
To integrate various systems that are utilizing an AI together, like this is an open source framework or OSDU, for example, this open data subsurface universe that was pushed forward in the industry a few years ago. What kind of challenges do you think will be the main hindrances in order to get these kinds of integrated systems between the various service companies, between the various energy companies, in order to be able to enable this kinds of flow of data that really AI needs?
Yes, so thank you for the question. So definitely the OSDU comes to play a role to integrate different vendors into the ecosystem, with the main goal to avoid duplication of data. I think that is one of the challenges I want to highlight is avoiding duplication and more connection. Okay, and at the layer of the applications, if we're talking about systems, the open architectures in terms of every software that we develop should have your API that can take inputs and outputs and process the data. Now, how we incorporate this into AI and the complementary models, we should be able to produce our own models and have a platform.
Yes, please.